Well, Matty, a crunch game for the Bombers this week against Brisbane. They've got a pretty strong midfield with Rockcliffe and Beams and Zorko and Daniel Rich running through there. Who, if anyone, should Essendon tag?
I think the key is stopping Dane Beams. I think his form this year has been tremendous. I think he went under the radar for the first 5 rounds because the Lions weren't winning. But I think with other players starting to lift their game around him, Lewis Taylor's been much better the last few weeks. Christensen, after copping a sting attack from Ackermanis in the press, there's been a few of them that are lifted and taken some pressure off. And he's no doubt the man that must be stopped. I know Carlton tried it a few weeks ago, but he had 30 disposals, kicked a couple of goals. He continued on that form. So I think, no doubt, got to win the midfield where they're powerful, and he's the man to stop.
So those midfielders feed off a pretty unique ruck combination, the height of Leuenberger and then the mobility of Stephen Martin. What sort of challenge does that present for Tom Bellchambers?
Yeah, it's interesting at selection for tonight with the Bombers. Who do they go with? Can they just go with Bellchambers with Carlisle coming back, or does the mobility of McKernan need to be played as well? So I think it's a really interesting selection with where they go. But yeah, I think he's just got to get a bit more nimble around the ground and compete a bit harder in the centre bounce to give the mids of Jobe and Heppel first crack, because I think if the Bombers can win that area, I think our talls are far superior to the Brisbane Lions. I think that early on, when their midfield was struggling, Brisbane, they couldn't kick more than 8 goals in a match of footy. The last 2 weeks they've got up and about, and suddenly their confidence has grown. So yeah, big job for Tommy and Sean if he plays.
So it was those small forwards that got the job done for Brisbane last week. Is that where the danger is for Essendon? Yeah,
well, if you win the midfield and your ball movement's good enough, well, suddenly the talls don't play as much of a factor, because the ball was going in that quick against Port Adelaide that suddenly Mitch Robinson and Green, Louis Taylor, Christensen were getting on the end of balls, running into open goals. Whereas if we can hold them up, make it when they've got possession of the ball, make it slow entries, you just feel like Hooker and Hurley and Fletcher aren't going to allow them to score 12-13 goals that they'll need to win the game.
So Essendon's averaging around 10.5 goals a game, Brisbane slightly less than that. What are the keys for Essendon to kick a winning score?
As I said earlier in the week, great signs that the midfield just started rolling on the ball a lot more. That really helps as a forward when there's speed on the ball, movement from the players. That just creates space, and it doesn't allow for players to zone off and drop off. And as I said, I think if the midfield can keep that attacking momentum at Etihad Stadium, where I think the Bombers play really good football, that one of Jake, Joe, Paddy Ambrose will kick 5+ this week. I think it's been a long time coming, but I think that I can feel that it might be this Sunday afternoon.
And that will make for a very enjoyable review early next week. Let's hope they can get the job done. Thanks, Matty.
Thanks a lot.